You've seen it, right? If you've ever watched the Olympics or even just been to the gym, you know the stuff I'm talking about. That bright, colorful tape all over athletes' shoulders, knees, and backs. It is literally everywhere. But have you ever stopped to wonder, does it actually do anything? Well, today, we're going to find out.
All right, let's dive right in. We're going to break down the science, or maybe the lack of science, behind what's called kinesiology tape, or KT tape for short. So, what's the real deal? Is this stuff a game changer for recovery, or is it just a really colorful placebo?
Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page. Before we can even get into whether it works, we got to understand what it is and how it got to be so popular in the first place.
Now, this isn't like that stiff, white athletic tape that basically turns your ankle into a cast. Nope, KT tape is super elastic. The whole point is to give you support in places like your shoulders, knees, or ankles, but without messing up your range of motion.
And you know, this stuff isn't new. It's actually been around since the 70s, but it was the 2008 Olympics that really put it on the map. I mean, you saw all these world-class athletes covered in it, and boom, it just exploded. Now it's this go-to, pretty cheap, low-risk option for dealing with those annoying little injuries.
So, what's the big promise here? What is this tape supposedly doing to your body? Let's unpack the theory, because it's actually kind of interesting.
The core idea is surprisingly simple. When you apply it, the tape gently pulls up on the skin. The thinking is that this creates a tiny microscopic bit of space between your skin and the muscle underneath. That little bit of space is supposed to take pressure off your pain receptors and help blood and other fluids flow better, which could cut down on swelling.
Yeah, physical therapist Cheyenne Gadamabadi explains it perfectly here. It's all about lifting the skin to reduce pressure and improve flow. Plus, it gives your brain a little extra feedback from that part of your body.
Okay, so that's the theory. And it sounds plausible, right? But theories are one thing, hard evidence is something else entirely. And luckily for us, a huge new study decided to put all these claims to the test.
And when I say huge, I mean it. This wasn't just some small experiment. Researchers did a massive overview of 128 systematic reviews, and a systematic review is basically a study of other studies.
And get this, all those reviews covered a staggering number of people. We're talking more than 15,000 participants. So yeah, this gives us a really broad look at the evidence.
So, after sifting through all that data, what did they find? Well, it's kind of a split decision. The research says, yeah, the tape might give you a small temporary drop in pain or a little boost in movement right after you put it on. But, and this is a big but, when it comes to any real long-term healing or major physical improvements, the evidence just isn't there.
Now, of course, we got to be fair. No study is perfect. For one, some people get skin irritation from the tape. Also, the study defined meaningful improvement with math, which might not match up with how a person actually feels. And they lumped all different body parts and taping styles together, so maybe some specific benefits got lost in the mix.
So this all leads to the million-dollar question. If the science for long-term benefits is so shaky, why doesn't it deliver on those bigger promises?
Well, let's go back to our expert Cheyenne Gadamabadi. He hits the nail on the head. He basically says it's like putting a Band-Aid on the problem. It might cover it up for a bit, but it's not a true solution.
And that makes total sense, right? Think about it. If your knee hurts because you have a muscle imbalance, taping your knee might make it feel better for a workout, but it does absolutely nothing to fix that imbalance. The root cause of the pain is still there.
And look, this new study isn't some outlier. A big review way back in 2012 came to a pretty similar wishy-washy conclusion. Plus, if you're taping yourself and you do it wrong, you could actually make things worse. And let's be crystal clear. This stretchy tape is no replacement for a real brace if you have a serious injury, like a dislocation. No way.
All right, so after all of that, the theory, the science, the critiques, what's the bottom line? Should you go and chuck that roll of tape that's sitting in your gym bag, or is there still a time and a place for it?
Well, here's how the experts suggest you think about it. It can be a pretty handy tool for some minor stuff, like a little swelling or a low-grade muscle tweak, just to help you stay active. But it is not a solution for long-term recovery. It won't fix what's actually causing the pain, and it's definitely not a replacement for proper medical treatment.
But then there's the whole mental side of things, which we can't ignore. As physical therapist Brad Erler says, there's a huge psychological piece to this. If that tape makes you feel more stable, more confident, that feeling alone can be a huge short-term boost. In a way, it's about hacking that placebo effect.
So if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this right here. KT tape is a tool, not a treatment. It can absolutely help you manage symptoms, but it's not going to heal you. Think of it as just one small part of a bigger recovery plan, not the whole plan itself.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. The hard science says the long-term physical benefits just aren't really there, but if it gives you the confidence to get through a tough workout or a big competition, you got to ask yourself, is that powerful placebo effect at just the right moment actually worth it? Something to think about.